Year 4, welcome to your science learning for the next few weeks. We're going to be moving on from our B topic and we're going to be thinking about sound. So there are lots of things we're going to be learning in this topic and you can see them all listed here. We're going to be thinking about sources of sounds, which is where we're going to start today. We're going to find out how sounds are made. We're going to be finding patterns between the volume of a sound and how it's made. And we're going to notice that sounds get fainter as they move away from you. And we're going to explore how to change the pitch of a sound. Now, the pitch isn't a football pitch. We'll find out a little bit more about that when we move on to the next slide. But we're going to start, like I said, with observing and naming a variety of sources of sound. There are some key scientific words that we're going to need, some key vocabulary throughout this topic. And here on the left-hand side in the table, you can see them. They're all different colours. We've got the word vibration. We've got the word sound wave. We have the word volume, then amplitude and pitch. And if you look at the table in the right-hand column, we can see that that gives us a definition for each of these key words. So a vibration is a movement backwards and forwards. The volume is the loudness of a sound. And the pitch isn't a football pitch. It's how low or high a sound is. So we're going to be using those words throughout this topic. But first we're going to start with sources of sound. And sound is all around us every day. And the source of a sound is just where the sound comes from. Now if you listen really carefully, I've got a source of sound in the background here today. Now this is music, we know that. But the source of the music is from my sound bar. So we're going to start with a game, and the game is Guess the Sound. There are 20 sounds for you to guess, so you're going to need a piece of paper. You're going to need to click on the link here, and that will take you to a YouTube game. You're going to need to listen, pause the video, write what you think the sound is, then carry on playing to see if you got it right. Miss O'Donnell was really good at this game when she played it this week. So I wonder if you can beat her. She got most of them right. So how many can you get out of 20? I'll see you back here in a minute. Have fun with the game. How's the game? Was it good? Excellent. Did you get more than 12 right? If you did a good job. So, what do you already know about sound? Here's our familiar concept map with the word sound in the middle. All I want you to do is I want you to write on the arms of the concept map anything you know about sound. Now remember, with the concept map, the colours help us to group our ideas together. So if I was thinking about how we hear sound, I might put that on the turquoise branch of the concept map. So I know that sound, we use our sense here and we use our ears to do that. So I know that already. But what else do you know? It might not be a lot at the moment, and that is absolutely fine. So I'm going to give you some questions to help you think about what you might already know, and here they are. So how are sounds made? What makes sounds louder and quieter? Now you can't hear my music now. It's quieter than it was before. How do musical instruments work? Well, there's lots of different musical instruments. There's brass instruments like the trombone, there's a piano, there's a guitar, there's a drum. Do they all work in the same way? How is the sound made from those? How do we hear? What makes sounds higher or lower? And how can sounds be made quieter? Is there something we can use to soundproof certain sounds? I wonder if you know any of those things already. Have a go. And then when you've done that, have you got any questions about sound? What would you like to find out? And I'll be really interested to know that, because that will help us as we think about sound over the next few weeks. So your task today is going to be all about sounds and poetry. Now this gentleman here is an author. He's called Roger McGough, and he wrote a poem called The Sound Collector, and it's a poem about a mysterious man who goes around stealing sounds. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you in a minute to pause the video after you've clicked on the link here to listen to Roger McGough read his poem, perform his poem to you, because we're going to be writing our own poems today. about different sounds, thinking about where they have come from, what are their sources. So enjoy the poem, and I'll see you in a minute. How was the poem? It was good, wasn't it? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go around and we're going to collect some sounds. Now, some of you are still learning at home, which is fantastic. You're doing a great job. Some of you are in school at the moment. So this is like just a little image here to help us think about where we can collect sounds from. And it might be nighttime. If you're in school, it could be the playground. If you're at home, it might be in the garden. Classroom could be your bedroom. You might go to the beach or on a woodland walk, or the kitchen. Now, I've already gone round and I've collected my sounds. Just going to pause the video there for a minute. So I've gone round already and I've collected my sounds here, and you can see that I have done a woodland walk. Those are the things I heard. You can see that down here, I think this was the beach? Oh, that was the garden. I've done a woodland walk. I've done the beach. And I've done the kitchen up here. So I've got 4 different places where I've collected sounds from. So that's what I want you to do first. So I want you to go away and I want you to collect some sounds. And then when you've collected them, and you might not do them all today, and that's absolutely fine. It might take you a couple of days to collect them. When you've collected them and you've written them down, I want you to come back because I want you to write your own poem. Okay. So here's the sound collector poem again. And what I want you to do now is I want to use the sounds that you've collected, and I want you to write your own version of the sound collector. Now you can keep the first verse and the last verse the same. But what I want you to do is I want you to add in 3 of your own verses. Now as I read the second verse here, the whistling of the kettle, the turning of the lock, the purring of the kitten, the ticking of the clock. I can see that the second line and the 4th line of this poem rhyme. Now, if you want a challenge for yourself, then have a go at rhyming, but it doesn't have to. And I can also see that most of the verbs that Roger McGough have used end in the ing suffix, okay? So whistling, turning, purring, ticking. And again, you can do that, but equally, you can put your own little spin on it if you want to. Now, I went away and I wrote my poem. Here it is. You can see there is lots and lots of editing and improving as I went along. And that's absolutely fine. It's all part of the writing process. I chose the kitchen, the garden and the beach for my 3 verses. So I'm going to read my poem and I'm going to share it with you so you know the kind of thing that I'm going to be looking for. A stranger called this morning dressed all in black and grey, put every sound into a bag and carried them away. The clinking of the cups, the chatter over cakes, the banging of the pans, the laughing at mistakes. The singing of the birds, the buzzing of the bees, the popping of the pod when you're eating peas. The music of the ice cream van, the waves crashing on the shore, the sand crunching underfoot, the laughter as children explore. And then you would read the last verse as well. Okay, so we're really interested to listen to your poems this week. You can record yourself and send us the recording. You can video yourself and send us the video. You can write it up in your best beautiful kinetic letters handwriting, and if you want to, you can illustrate it just like the poem here. If you're feeling a bit more technical, then you can always have a go at typing it up on a laptop and adding in some images. Remember to send them to us at the Year 4 email address, because Miss Parker, Miss O'Donnell, Mr Penfold and myself will be keeping a beady eye out to see how you got on with collecting sounds this week, thinking about the sources, where they've come from, and writing your own poem. Looking forward to seeing that. Have a fab week, and I'll see you next week for some more science. Bye!